Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more. Like more flavor to go with all the flavor. A refreshing drink after climbing 6 flights of stairs to a walk-up apartment or standing in the subway station in 100-degree heat. Focus when I have an 8-hour shift. And Triple X after I was out all night at a club. Call Triple X. Drink vitamin water. It's from New York.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. Here are your hosts, Steve Collins and Greg Berg.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. I'm so excited you decided to join us. Before we deep dive into this, I'd like to give a big shout out, first of all, to Coach Berg's website, gberge.gumroad.com. It's got everything you need to for leadership, all the free resources, the preseason self-perception form, the team leadership checklist, the preseason playbook, the offseason, all these things are free. Go over and check them out. gberge, berge.gumroad.com. Go over and check that out. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's handouts. It's one-on-one calls. It's office hours. It's what I would have wanted as a young basketball coach. I built it. It's got everything. It's got a preseason course. It's got a season course. It's got an off-season course. It's got a postseason course. It's got everything set up from a basketball coach who's been quote unquote nationally ranked, to help you take your team to the next level. So go over and check that out, and let's head off to the podcast. All right. Welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. November. Today we are going to talk about the team leader checklist, Coach, and I am super excited about this. So I'm going to let you dive right into it because I got lots of questions.
Yeah. So again, we've talked about the importance of leadership. We've selected our leaders, captains, whatever you want to call them. How do we systemically work with those kids? And one thing that I do is I sit down with my leaders and I go through this checklist at the beginning of the season. As soon as they know that they are the quote unquote leader, captain, whatever you want to title it, I'll go through this with them. And then I have ongoing conversations with them, obviously, throughout the season. But there's 9 things on the checklist. I'm just going to go through them one at a time, then we can chat. Number one is I expect them, and my checklist for them is they need to lead by example. The first step to leading other people is taking care of yourself, and leading by example is incredibly important. That's at practice, that's in the locker room, outside of school, so forth. Number 2, our team leaders are kind of like junior firefighters, right? So they're tasked with putting out the little fires behind the scenes, things that we don't always see as coaches. I'll talk through some maybe examples of them. If they hear a player maybe talking negative in the locker room or complaining about this or complaining about their role, their first step is to try to put out that fire right away. And I have these ongoing conversations because if they're trying to put out a fire and they need help with that, talk to me, because I want to guide them through it. I don't want to be the one that has to police all that. But if they can't put it out, they got to let me know, because if that turns into an inferno or something bigger, we're going to have to deal with it. And I want to deal with it before it gets to that point.
That's a very valid point, Coach, too, because I always tell them that I'm the release valve so the boiler doesn't blow up.
Yep.
I said, we don't want to use it if we don't have to. I'd rather have you do it. And sometimes they have to come to me. It is. Like
there's got to be a progression, but they have to know. We have to have these conversations with them, and give them some examples so they know.
And I've had that with like parties and stuff. Like they come and they say, "Hey, coach, there's this." I said, "Okay, I got it." And I don't want to throw them under the bus at that point, but I go, "I got ways of dealing with this, and let me do it. I got it.
Yep.
So yeah,
there's some things that are outside of their, ability.
Yes.
The third one is they have to take ownership, and they have to, as a leader, they have to take responsibility for their own mistakes. They have to take responsibility for their own choices. They have to model ownership, and they have to model that, accountability piece, which is so important. Number 4, they have to be a thermostat. We talk about being a thermostat or a thermometer. Thermostats set the temperature. Thermostats set the tone. A thermometer is reactive. It's measuring after the fact. And so as a team leader, you're setting the tone for our team every day with your attitude, with your work ethic at practice, with how you treat other people. The 5th one is I tell them you have to be a connector. We cannot have anyone on our team who does not feel connected, doesn't feel a part of it. You don't have to be best friends with every kid on the team, but you have to include them. If you're going to do a little team get together, you need to make sure everyone is involved. Teams are about human connection. And we talked about the bad apple, a couple podcasts ago. And if you don't include everyone, that person can very easily become a bad apple behind the scenes. So that connection piece is really important. Be an energy giver. We talk a lot about energy. It's really important in our team. And I want positive energy givers, and our team leaders have to be energy givers. Number 7, you've talked about this a lot, but team leaders have to give reminders and give feedback. Don't be reactive, be proactive. On the court, be proactive. When I'm yelling box out at a free throw, you should be yelling box out. You should be telling your teammates before it happens, reminding them what they should do. And also feedback. Give specific feedback. As coaches, we have to give specific feedback. We can't be a rebound. Oh,
yeah.
Duh. So, and then a couple more, bring the EGBs. We've talked a lot about that in the last couple of years. Energy giving behaviors, touches, fist pumps, pats on the back. And then even branching that out with EGPs like hustle plays, drawing a charge, extra pass. That's one thing that I really would love to measure better than we do.
I know,
because
it's so
I think
hard. It's so hard. It's like, I know.
And then
we're gonna do touches this year. We're gonna try to track touches. It's gonna be hard, but
I'm gonna get one of my staff people to do that too. I think it's so important, and I just want to. And then last one is just the Magic Johnson effect. Build confidence in your teammates. When that sub comes in off the bench, how do you build them up? Your body language has to be spot on. There's so many things you have to do as a leader to build confidence. So these are 9 things that I think are important for leaders. I'll lay the foundation with the kids with this, and then we kind of keep coming back to it. I'm meeting with my team leaders multiple times a week, and most of the time they're just little casual, small, conversation before practice, after practice in the hallway. I'll pull them out of a study hall. We'll talk and really get in that. Basketball's a long season.
It is.
A lot can go on, that, and there has to be these ongoing discussions about leadership.
I mean, okay, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but she does all of these.
Taylor Swift?
She's like a connector. My brother's the business person of her, and she is it's almost cult-like. My brother went to a concert. It's anyway, if you had to pick 1 or 2, which 2 would you pick? I'm gonna say pick 2. Which 2? Ooh. If you could only pick 2.
I think leading by example, you can't get to the next step if you don't lead by example yourself. So that first and foremost has to be the most important one. Gosh, it's hard.
I'd say something with energy. I think the energy thing, connector or energy, was what jumped out at me.
I think for me, I'm gonna say, probably just being an energy giver. I think energy is contagious, right?
It is.
And if your leaders are have bad body language or negative or aren't doing that, it filters through the team. So I would agree with you. I think energy giving is,
and here's the reason for the coaches that are listening, here's the reason why. I think if you're an energy giver, you can put out brush fire. You have street cred is what I refer to it as.
Yeah.
You got to have street cred if you're going to be a connector, if you're going to put out brush fires, if you're going to remind, they're going to listen to you and remind. You have to do the two things you said. You have to, all that stuff, the ownership, you have to have all that. So if you're not living it and you're not giving the energy, then I'm going to listen to you, but am I really going to listen to you? That's just kind of my feeling.
Oh, I would agree. And a lot of these center on energy with, being a connector, bringing the EGBs, being an energy giver, being a thermostat, setting the thermostat.
Well, what I would tell coaches is think about those people. We all know those people.
Yep.
And my brother's one of those people. It's like one of those people is just like, they're just there. Like they're always leading. They're always, and you trust them. So you're going to go to them and when they say something, you're going to listen.
Yeah. They pull you in.
They pull you in. It's just like, it's like Star Trek or whatever. It's like that beam that pulls it into the
Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty, beam me up kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's true though. It's like, and we've all met those people that are just like, you just want to like, oh my gosh. It's like, and that's why I was teasing about Taylor Swift, but there's an energy there. Like there's something there that she's just,
absolutely.
And she's a good role. She's living you don't see her in the tabloids. Like you see her giving like a 3.5 hour concert, you just like, everything's positive, which again, it's a persona, but there's something there she's an energy giver rather than an energy taker.
Leaders need followers, right?
Right.
And she has a lot of followers.
Yes.
So something she's doing is, and these 9 things, I go through them with team leaders, but we'll talk about them with our whole team too, because there's a lot of collective leadership. We've talked about that. There are other kids on the team that are leaders and lead in different ways, and they might be energy givers. They're bringing that every day to practice. They might lead your team in EGBs. Collective leadership is so important. And I think the problem of labeling just one kid a captain or two and not talking about collective leadership is you pass the buck and you basically tell your team that they don't have a role in leadership, which is so false. And, if you want to have a great team, you need a collective leadership response. I think it was Nick Saban that made a comment. He had a great video on leadership, and he talked about, leaders, if they have to hold other people accountable, that you don't want that. Like if you have enough people leading themselves, your leaders don't have to hold other people accountable. So our whole goal is to have as many of those kids as we can.
I want a whole team of them. I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk about your course. So inside of that, how do you talk about the checklist inside of the iOS thing? Inside of your
team leader OS, it's I have a team leader training manual that is 20 lessons long. And so in the OS, what I'm doing is I spend the first part doing a, video for coaches, guiding them through these 20 lessons so they understand it. And then their goal is to take that and apply it with their team leaders. So one of those lessons is this team leader checklist. So I'll go through this with coaches. Here's what they are. Here's how you talk about it. And then the goal would be coaches, once you're done going through this course and you understand it, you take it. And if you want the kids to hear my voice, I'll spend 4 minutes talking about the team leader checklist where it's me talking to kids, but I've made this flexible. If you're comfortable talking about it and you want to do it with your kids, go for it.
It's probably better if the coach can.
Totally. But sometimes we want kids to hear a different voice too.
Yeah,
so
true. It's there's
a balance. 6
of one, half a dozen of the other. You're right. Sometimes it just really depends. I agree. But I'll put his your course down in the show notes for everybody, Coach, and we'll talk next week. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Yep.